Hi, class. Welcome back. This is chapter 4. So let's do the screen sharing. Okay. So today we will be talking about chapter 4. And here, what we will be talking about, we're talking about the um, creativity and a business idea. So, first thing that we want to talk is the trends. So, the trends provide opportunities for starting a new business, a new venture, particularly when at the start of a long-lasting trend. There is a trend in the market. There is a few trends that is going to be available for the next 10, 20 years, or maybe 100 years. You might want to start looking at these trends. It's like there is some that I might suggest that could be a wearable trend, and anything that you can wear it. For example, the smartwatch with emails and everything, or technical, some kind of a USB to lock to your dress, or right now we know that there is some kind of a chip that they can put it in the hand or blood or body. That's also another wearable trend. So whatever is wearable trend that we can utilize, like wearing a very um, aerodynamic, making an aerodynamic clothes or aerodynamic for biking. These are all wearable trends. Now, the other trend that's in the market is the green trend. So people are trying to be um, um, more into recycling, more into not hurting the environment. So anything, any product that comes in and support you in that field, that could be also a green trend. What do you call a green trend? The other thing is called the payment trend, which is something that I got really involved with it, which is, mobile payment, online payment, credit card payment. These are all is the payment trends. And then you have the market trend, and then the mobile trend, which is from the mobile application to the mobile itself, or to anything that you can come up with it that is mobile. For example, I came up with an idea, I called the whole project, I called it mobile education. And it means that wherever you go, the education will come with you. So that's called mobile education. And people in the beginning thought that's, um, uh, mobile and education. So the mobile. I said, no, it's a mobile education using all kind of a tools that help you to, the bus can study, you can be on the road, you can get your education by using different type of, instruments. And then you have the health trend, which is, this is one of the things that I spoke about it, is people are always looking to make their life longer and to live healthier. So looking at this trend is always going to be there and in the future market. So something like an idea about mobile diabetes, mobile cancers, anything got to do improve the health, improve the medical stuff, that's also a trend. Maybe clothing that fits into a health trend. And the last but not least, and it's really growing big, this is IoT, which is the Internet of Things, smart, like connecting an air condition to your mobile, or to through your internet, or connecting your car or whatever. This is or the fridge. This is the mobile of things, or IoTs. So this is a huge trend that's coming in the market. So these are the seven trends that you can think about them. Don't get stuck with these seven. You can think more outside of these trends, and you can connect these trends with each other. So you can put up something uh, wearable, but it's a green, or you can have something Internet of Things, and connected to the mobile trend. So these are the things that you really, feel that it's going to be there in the market. Now, um, some of the most fruitful sources of ideas. So where I'm going to get my ideas from? Once I can look at the consumers, and there is a videos that I'm going to show you, which is you're going to see. You look at the consumers. You open your eyes, you look at them, how they are behaving, where they are doing, what they are doing. If there is a complaint, if there is something unhappiness or something, the consumer can tell you. And also you can look at the existing products itself, how you can improve it, what can you do with it, or the service itself. The distribution channels, you can look at the product that's being distributed right now, where you can improve these things, how the channels itself, how you can improve that also. The federal government is a good source because the federal government usually have lots of information about patent. And once you look at the patent, you can really come up with something that's better than the patent came up with it. It's just like an example that when people came in with this sport bike, they start producing sport bike. Somebody came up with the mountain bikes, and now mountain bikes are taking over the market. And some business got killed because of this stuff. So you look at the patent, and it could be very helpful, and you can find out in the federal government in USA or in Canada or even China, India. There is lots of government organization would help you there. And the last but not least, also research and development. So you can do research, finding on the internet what is needed, what is in the market, how it's booming. You find similar market, and then you start looking at the research of it. Now, the method of generating idea. So how I'm gonna generate an idea. It's not a stand alone. It could come individually, but how I'm gonna go and generate the idea. And it's important for you. It doesn't come in a dream or something. You need to process it. Now, it could be one of the things that a focus group is controlled by a moderator leading a group in an open, in-depth discussion. Like probably your next assignment will be like this. This is a group leader and group members, and they can have a discussion with generating an idea. And when you do an in-depth discussion, there is a different way of doing it, but the most important that I think is a very good one is the brainstorming, which is allow the greater creativities in a group exercise. So everybody has some idea and they can, do a brainstorming. And when you throw your idea, everybody start thinking of it and start, adding things on it. But in the brainstorming, it's no criticism is allowed, so you cannot laugh at somebody's idea or you cannot, downplay it. The second thing is a freewheeling is encouraged, so everybody is free to say whatever they want, but without a criticism once again. The quantity of ideas is important, so if you come up with if you're six group and six of you come up each one an idea or two ideas, that you see lots of quantities, and then you drill it down to two or one eventually. And then the combination and improvement of idea is also encouraged. So as always, there is, the idea you can improve it, do a combination of them, have the both of them. And there is another way of doing it, which is a brain writing, which is like a brainstorming, but it's in a form of brainstorming. The problem inventory analysis is similar to focus group, but member focus on a product problem rather than a new idea. So when you look at the warehouse and you see there's a product stuck there, there is some problem with that product that made these people not able to send it, not able to sell it. So if you can improve that and people start looking at it as a useful thing, so it's easy. So you can look at the warehousing, you can look at any places that the product is stuck. Maybe you can go in any shops, and when you see somebody at $1, because and you think it's supposed to be $100. So this is a failing idea. It's sitting there waiting for you to improve it, make it better, and then give it to the market. That's one of the way of doing it. Now, there is what you call, we need to do some creative problem solving. So there is not always an idea comes in out of nowhere. There is another way of you solve a problem. And creative problem solving, it could be a problem in service or in a product that you can come up with it. And in the creative problem solving is important because the brainstorm is the most widely used technique. So brainstorming is, as we said, is most likely used technique. And there is another one which is called a reverse brainstorming, is a similar like a brainstorming, but criticism is allowed. So once you're done with the brainstorming, you start a reverse brainstorming, separate these two together so you can, everybody is free to come up with the idea, and then once the idea, everybody's idea got together, then you start to criticize, so juggle things around. And there is something called a Gordon method, which is slowly you can reveal the problem. I don't think the other person should have a full knowledge of the thing about the product and the problems in the market, and leave it to others to say something about it. The other way is the checklist, which is you put a checklist, a method, and certain question, is it covered? And probably is addressable market, your market. You do as a checklist for it, which market you're targeting. So your whole market is something, but the market that you can cover is something, and the market that you can get to share is something. So you can use this. The other thing is like a free association, which is a simple method of creating change of ideas. So you just come up with the idea and have somebody comes with a different, according to that idea, kind of integrated, and then come more and more and more and more. It's just like how we came with probably mobile diabetes. We wanted a mobile application. Then we moved from mobile application, we went to mobile cancer, said no, mobile pregnancy, no, until we said, voila, mobile diabetes is one of the good ideas. Now, then you probably have some kind of a forced relationship. It tries to force product combination. So you can have, say, apps in mobile, these into these two things. I want a solution, car and shoes into these two, or bike and shoes. So you can create a shoes that fits for biking only, something in that idea. These two things put together. This is what we call force relation. And the collective notebook is just like you write something in your notebook, an idea, try to force, and like this, and you write something and let everybody, and then everybody will write how to solve this problem with what kind of product. So there is a lot of ways of doing, these things. That you get the attribute listing, looks for a problem attribute that varies, and the big dream. You can have a big dream approach. Says, well, my big dream is, for example, that everybody wears a biking shoes. For example, parameter analysis involved in the parameters and creative synthesis. But as I said, one of the best starting for you is start with a business brainstorming, and then once you got all these ideas set up, and then let everybody do some reverse brainstorming, because everybody who comes with an idea, he thinks it is the greatest, and you become like this. You're not looking at anything around you, and there's lots of entrepreneur fails because of they doing that. They're not looking at the other people, can be criticizing or believing in your product or something like that. Anyway, so here comes with innovation. Let's talk about innovation. Innovation, we know entrepreneurs is the heart of probably nerve that helps the heart to beat for a country, because entrepreneurs always comes up with ideas, and these ideas can do, a great wonders. One of the things that, after your graduation, you can come up with this idea. And it doesn't mean that you have to use your working experience, but it's a good idea to use your working experience. But it's also when you come up with a good idea that can help you to smooth your move in this country. But innovation is a key to economic development of any company and any country. Because if you take in economics, once the innovation is happening, there is a shift in supply, there is a shift in demand, and the growth is happening from innovation. Um, Innovation is type based on uniqueness of idea. So what does it mean? There is a breakthrough innovation, which is a unique something. You come up with it. It's like inventing a mobile or developing an airplane. Then you have, or a light bulb. Then you have the technological invention or an invention occur frequently, more frequently, and offer an advance in a product, like moving the regular plane to the jet plane, and then or sound plane, and it's like an improved step by step. And then you have the ordinary innovation, which is most of the entrepreneurs are involved in the second or the third, uh, and usually extend the product into better product, like Spanx footless pantyhose. So you just want to make sure, look at the people complaints, look at the people unhappiness, look at the people not satisfying. All these things can help you. Look at the products that is on the rough at a very low price. These are all can be a wide opening uh, ideas. So these are the three type of innovation. Now the product uniqueness, entrepreneurs define a product or uniqueness of a product. So what makes your product is unique? What makes your service is unique? Is uniqueness may be in the customer or consumer concept in his eyes. Oh, wow, that's different. But some of the people says, no, that just the color is different. So it's in the eyes of the consumers. Um, Uniqueness, the change may be in the product itself. So the product may change, and there is a cause a uniqueness. Um, repackaging. Repackaging is an extremely important. So much, and you're aware, repackaging, the right packaging, the good packaging, it can sell. So this is one of the things that you can look at it, for example. For example, if you look at the watermelon in Japan, it's like a box. And the reason because they thought about repackaging it and sending it on a trailer or a truck. And if it's a circle, will take so much space. So they made it as a look like a box so they can put it together. That's a weird idea, but it works in Japan, for example. But when I went to the market in Iraq, I saw that the quality of the product that's coming from Iran is much better taste. The food tastes better. The things is better. Although the product that is mostly sold in Iraq, which is, imagine 27 million after the war, they don't produce anything. They buy from outside food, basic food. We saw that the quality that the food that comes from Iran is very better than the quality of the food that comes from Turkey. But the market for Turkey was a huge and the dominant, and the reason because they have a better packaging. So think about repackaging things, products or services, combination of this. Now, the other thing is the product may only be only minor improvement. You don't need to make a big improvement. Voila, it could be a small improvement where you have an upper hand over the competition, where the people comes in and take your product over that product just because you probably the can be automatically opened or by switching, whatever. So these are could be a minor improvement. The product may be simply to be similar to the competition product. And you can just copycat the competition. That's another thing. If you see that's a huge market for this product and there is no patent, or you can do that, you can also copycat it. So these are the product uniqueness. Now, when it comes to the new product classification, and it's basically the new product classification may be classified into, classified from the point of view of the consumer, as we said, of the firm. So how the consumer is looking at it. Consumer may look at how much behavioral change or a new learning requirement. That's from, oh, I have to learn a lot about this new product. Or they can see, say, oh, it's very similar to the previous one. There's not much adjustment I need to do. So there is what you call a continuous innovation require no new learning or behavior changes. Just like what you used to do, how you eat the watermelon, which is a circle, the square watermelon, same thing. Not much there to do. Then you have the dynamics. Continuous innovation requires some relearning. And then you have the discontinuous innovation, which are truly new and rare. It's how much the consumer does need to learn is important, because if you're in a country where they don't like to learn a new stuff, then either your product is requires so much learning, you need to put so much effort on it. That's from the consumer. Now, from the firm point of view, may view newness by a different in the technology. So there they look at it as a new. How much they learn, these people from the producers, they look at it, how much technology. Now, change in the technology may range from no change to a brand new change. Change in market range from the same market to a new market, and the complexities increase with the change in the both. So there is two changes that you need, whether it's in the technology or in the market range. In this country, that country, covering up different provinces. You might see and hear there is a product that is really acceptable within the Indian communities, for example, and you think about to export it to Vancouver, for example, resell it in Vancouver. So this is a new market for you and a change in the market range. Now, opportunity recognition. Some entrepreneurs recognize a business opportunity fundamental to entrepreneurial process. So the entrepreneur should recognize a business opportunities to do the rest of the process. Now, this is your first group assignment and I will show you the video, is you need to talk to each other as a group and see which product is you're going to take a stage and why. So we will talk about after this video, to this class. The key lays in the knowledge and experience of the entrepreneur. Alterness or network are other important factors. So when it's an entrepreneur, he has that knowledge, and that knowledge is there. And then with that knowledge can see if there is an opportunity. Now you can also change the networks or change the locations. Probably that's also work also. Now, an opportunity analysis plan is a good method for assessing a new idea. So you have a new idea, before you start doing marketing plan and full business plan, you do an opportunity analysis. And probably this is not a business plan, keep in mind. This is not a business plan. An opportunity analysis is not a business plan. but help you to decide whether to pursue an idea. Because when you do a business plan, it's going to take time, effort, marketing research, marketing plan, business plan, detailed with the business plan. So when you do opportunity analysis, that saves you time if it's not right product. But if it's a right product, then you can continue build on it. So product planning and product development and product development process is the idea are defined through the production planning and development process divided into 5 major stages. This process results in the start of product life cycle. Now, you have what you call evaluation criteria, which is must be inclusive and quantitative. Now, a market opportunity and adequate market demand must exist. The second thing that you need to evaluate current competition producers, competing producers, prices, policies, look at around it. The third thing is the new product should be synergized with the existing capabilities. So it's according to your abilities and according to the consumer's ability. A new product should support and contribute to financial well-being. So it has good revenue in it, and evaluate the compatibility with the existing machineries and personnel. So if you decided to produce something, then you need to evaluate whether these people are available who can use these machineries and all these things. And then evaluate an idea throughout its evolution, how it's been progressing, or whether it's been progressing quickly or slowly, or whether it's just started now. So it's important to know about all these things. So where we can start? We can start in the stage 1, which is idea stage. So here where we identify promising a new product and eliminate the impractical one. When we said you come up with the 10 ideas as a group, you just eliminate the impractical ones and you go with the practical one. And then you start with the brainstorming, and then you do later on reverse brainstorming. And then the concept stage, which is redefine idea is tested to determine the consumer acceptance. So whether the consumer is going to accept it or not, it's very important. So you need to redefine your idea in a way that the consumer accepts it. And that comes from also the reverse brainstorming. Product development, which is a consumer reaction to the physical product is determined, or the service that you think is, so you can test the market with it. And test marketing stage, which is provide actual sale result. You just test it in a small market or do a small product, which indicate the consumer acceptance level, and then commercialize it. That'll give you a good idea. When I was a kid, in summer times, I used to work in a stores for clothing. And one day I noticed, as a part-time, I noticed that two ladies walked in and they were wearing hijab. And you know what hijab is, the Islamic dressing. But in that time, the dominant dressing was the Egyptian way, which is made of silk and a straightforward. And one of the lady took a short skirt with a beautiful colors made of cottons and all these things. So the other person, she said, well, you're wearing hijab. They both were wearing hijab, but she asked, why are you buying something like that? She goes, well, I like it, but I want to wear it, but I can wear it at home. So she's buying a very expensive skirt just to wear it at home. Here's clicked an idea with me, which is, in that time, I talked to my boss, and my boss has a place where a factory where he produces clothing. So I brought a Western style of clothes, and I made it in a hijabi Islamic way. And he looked at it and goes, this is a good idea. Let's start with 5 dozens. And when we started at the 5 dozen, within one day, all of them were sold. So here's it clicked. So we went from idea stage to a concept stage to a product development to a testing the market. And once this started, so he produced this 5 dozen finish in one day, then he starts commercializing it and goes through the whole market of Kuwait. But then eventually, this whole idea is taking a Western clothes and make it Islamic. It became a very popular idea in Gulf because they were wealthy and they were, they don't want to wear only silky clothes. So this is an example of how you do, process of doing it. Now, the e-commerce and e-business and business start, this is always you have to do an e-commerce. This is a concept that but how you're going to do the income? What's your approach for e-commerce? Use of e-commerce is could be creatively useful in sourcing, full outsourcing, or hybrid. First of all, you need to select the application that is going to be useful for you in your product or service. You cannot just go for Facebook, for example. There is some product that you can market yourself, but specialize in a field. Like you cannot, use only KGG. You can use where your product can be really acceptable. I can, probably. I don't know, I can remember any product, but I can give you an example. For example, if I'm looking at my mobile right now, I have, for example, a Facebook, which is for communication, for fun, for speaking. I have a KGG, which is for secondhand clothing or services, in-house services. But also, um, probably you need to look at, if you have a car or equipment, you need to look at the garage or something like that. But the most interesting application is probably, you need to be specialized in, for example, in Pinterest, for example, or Quora or Yelp. There's so many apps who gear towards something special. But overall, the use of commercial creativity, use of full insourcing, full outsourcing, or hybrid. A front-end activity includes anything that consumer interact with. So back-end activities is like the IT, the payment, the search, the orders. So there is two parts of it. Now, e-commerce channel could be the website, a dedicated mobiles website and app, and there is the whole field of e-commerce that it is not as a place that we can talk about it because one of the things that I did was working with Tijari.com. They are the government of UAE e-commerce place. So anybody who wants to sell to the government of UAE has to go to utilize e-commerce, and it's the main thing now in UAE. So e-commerce is essential for your business, whether you're providing service or product. You also need to think about the e-commerce opportunities which is there. So this is kind of an end of this chapter. It's a short chapter, and we will utilize the other product. I will talk more about the assignment and how it's supposed to be working.